that is called as the residues. Okay, so you are going to use some part of this in residues. So I'll do this first and then I'll go to residues. Okay, so this is page number 1. Today is what date? 30th. Okay, now first of all you need to know what is the complex power series. Complex power series. It will be definitely with Z, right, where Z is complex number. So for example, C naught plus C1 into Z minus A plus C2 into Z minus A the whole square up to Cn into Z minus A raised to n, okay, and so on up to infinity. So if you write this with summation sign, how it will look? Cn Z minus A raised to n from n equal to 1 to infinity. I'm audible, students, right? Please say something. It's blurred.
Continue. So what I was saying, I was talking about the complex power series where Z is a complex number, right? Z is a complex number. Okay. Now what are these C naught, C1, C2 up to Cn and so on? These are the constants, right? And constants, in other words, these are the coefficients. Then what is A? Z minus A. A is called as center of the series. Okay. So these are some constants. Those are the coefficients. And A is called as center of the series. Center of the series. Okay. So this is just the explanation about this. Now we can A is less than R. Okay. So here series is convergent. And when mod of Z minus A is greater than R, series will be divergent. And series may be or may not be convergent when Z minus A is equal to R. Okay. Now see students, there are some terms like, suppose there is a circle with center A and radius R. Then power series is convergent for all the points which are inside the circle, because basically mod of Z minus A is equal to R is what? Mod of Z minus A is equal to R is a circle, right? So the series is convergent at all points inside this circle. Okay. And it is divergent at all points which are outside the circle, and it may be convergent or divergent at all the points on the circle. So this is called as the circle of convergence. And capital R is called as the radius of convergence. Now see students, this power series are important in complex analysis, because what happens is every power series is analytic and every analytic function can be expressed as the power series. I have told you about the analytic function, students. Analytic function means what? It is a function which is differentiable at each and every point in that region, right? So the such type of series can be written or can be converted in the form of a Taylor series, right? So in this topic, mainly you are going to learn two types of series. One is called as Taylor series and another series is called as Lorentz series, because our power series is always analytic. Okay. Now Taylor series method and Lorentz series method are different from each other, right? For example, if I give the title expansion of a complex function f of z, expansion of a complex function f of z, right? Now first I'll give you Taylor series. Now in Taylor series, what happens, students? What is the statement of Taylor series? Because Taylor series you have already done in first semester, if you remember Taylor's and Maclaurin series, right? So it is same if f of z is analytic. Only thing is we are talking about the complex series here. Okay, so if f of z is analytic, inside the circle C, capital C, which center z naught, then I'm giving you the statement of Taylor series, students. Please take down. If f of z is analytic inside the circle C with the center z naught, then for all z inside C, f of z can be expressed as f of z is equal to f of z naught plus z minus z naught f dash of z naught, z minus z naught the whole square by 2 factorial f double dash of z naught, and so on up to infinity. Do you remember this series, students? You have learned this series in terms of x, like see, f of x is equal to f of h plus x minus a f dash of h plus x minus a the whole square by 2 factorial f double dash of h, and so on. One more type is f of x plus h is equal to f of x plus x minus a into f dash of x plus x minus a the whole square by 2 factorial f double dash of x, and so on up to infinity. So this is the same series which you have already done earlier, but now it is in terms of a complex series. Okay. So in short, this series is convergent. Convergent means what? When you take the nth limit, or when you take the limit of the nth term as n tends to infinity, you get a constant, means finite term. Then it is called as convergent series. So the series is convergent at every point in the circle, within the circle. Okay. So if this is a circle, for example, this is some circle, and z naught is the center of the circle. Z naught is some point, okay? So these are the points z and so on. So what happens is, the series is convergent at all points inside this circle. So in different ways you can write this series. If you put z naught is equal to 0, then it becomes a Maclaurin series, okay? Now suppose I want to write the next step of series. It is called as the Lorentz series expansion. Okay, let me take the another page. So Lorentz series is something new for you. See what it is. Lorentz series expansion. Now here see what happens, students. If C1 and C2 are two concentric circles, okay. For example, suppose this is circle C1, outer is C1 and innermost is C2, okay, with radii R1 and R2. This is your as usual center Z0. Now outermost radius is R1 and innermost radius is R2, okay, and this is some point Z here. So see what I have drawn here. There are two concentric circles. Concentric circle means what? One circle within the another circle, with the radii R1 and R2. So R1, small r1 is radius of outermost circle, and small r2 is radius of innermost circle. And the center is Z0. Center is common for them. And if f of z is analytic, R between the two circles, then for any point z in R, means see what happens. Your function is analytic Your function means what? F of z. It is analytic. Analytic means what, students? It is differentiable. Okay, where on C1 and C2, on circle C1 and C2, and in annular region R. Annular region means what? This the region which is in between these two. Annular region between C1 and C2. Then at any summation A is to minus n. To n plus 1 d omega, and bn is equal to 1 upon 2 pi I integral over the curve C, yes, you can say C2 now, and it is f of omega, omega minus z naught minus n plus 1 d omega. This is first formula and this is second formula. So now see carefully, students. The main formula for Lorentz series, like how you remember Fourier series, similarly you remember the formula for Lorentz series. What it is? Summation of an z minus z naught raised to n. What is an in this? An is given by this formula, 1 upon 2 pi I integral of f of omega upon omega minus z naught raised to n plus 1 d omega. Now while solving problems, you will come to know what is that omega stands for. Similarly, the second term in the Lorentz series is what? Summation of bn z minus z naught raised to minus n. So here the power is plus n for the first term, and for the second term the power is minus n. And formula for bn is given this. And what is the difference? If you see in the denominator, the power is minus n plus 1. Here it is plus n plus 1. Okay, that is the only difference you can see in this formula. Okay, so proof of this is not involved in your syllabus, so we can proceed with the problems. Okay, so f of z is analytic inside C2 always. F of z is analytic inside the C2. Then Lorentz series reduces to Taylor series. Because what happens to Taylor series, in Taylor series, the function is analytic in full, analytic inside the circle, right? All points inside the circle. So if your function is analytic inside the circle, then Lorentz series gets converted to Taylor series. Okay. So Lorentz expansion and Taylor's expansion are unique in the given region. And we can find it out by using the binomial expansion. Now see what happens here, students. Summation of the part, summation of an z minus a raised to n. Now let us take a in place of z naught. N is from 0 to infinity, right? That is the first part I am taking. What happens here? This consists of positive integral powers of z minus a. So here what happens? These are positive powers of z minus a. So these things you remember while solving problems. Okay? So this part is called as the analytic part. This part is called as analytic part, or some books call it as regular part also. And now the second part of Lorentz series. What is the second part? Bn z minus a raised to minus n from n equal to 0 only. No, it is. When you write this, we need not take it as 1. You can take it as 0 itself, because here the series expansion is starting from 0. So in main this also you can start from 0.
Hello, ma'am.
Okay. Yes.
Screen is blur, ma'am.
Is any doubt? Yes. Blurry
Screen
screen.
is blur, ma'am. Again.
Okay. Just wait. Yeah. happens is there are two parts in Lorentz series. First part, the powers of z minus a are positive, which is called as analytic part. And the second part of Lorentz series, what happens is there are negative powers of z minus a. Okay. Now this part is called as the principal part of Lorentz series. So what are the two parts of Lorentz series? One is analytic part, other is principal part. Analytic part, the powers of z minus a are positive. Principal part, the powers of z minus a are negative. Okay. Now before proceeding to the examples, I just want to give you one set of series which already you know, but just to revise. Can anybody tell me what is the expansion for series e raised to z? Let us take this as the standard series. Okay, anybody? E raised to z. You can hear me, right, students? Akash, can you tell what is e raised to z?
Yes.
Do you remember? 1 plus z square by 2 factorial plus z cube by 3 factorial and so on. Right? Now what is the second formula? It is sine of z. What is the expansion for sine z? Z minus z cube by 3 factorial plus z raised to 5 by 5 factorial and so on. Means the powers of z are odd powers when you write expansion for sine. Then when you go to write expansion for cos, is it clear now, students? Please put in chat box and you can hear me. Okay. So the next is this cos function. How you write cos function? Cos function is 1 minus z square by 2 factorial plus z raised to 4 by 4 factorial and so on. Correct? Now I want you to write the expansion for log of 1 plus z, then 1 plus z raised to minus 1, 1 minus z raised to minus 1, 1 plus z raised to minus 2, and 1 minus z raised to minus 2. Okay. So just see if you can write these expansions. Take down this and see if you can write down these expansions. Okay, so just try to write this. I'm just write this, students. Give me 2 minutes. I'm just closing the screen for the internet. Okay, by the time you write down, 2 minutes I'm giving you.
See what you understood my question, what I'm asking. There are two series, right? I'll give you the series, don't worry. But my simple question is, when I write expansion for the series, which will be alternating series and which will be the series in which all terms will be positive? Alternating series means what? Plus minus.
Seventh one will be alternating.
Yes, very good. Seventh one will be definitely alternating because what I told you, when the middle sign and the sign of the exponent are opposite, always the series will be alternating series. And when both the signs, like middle sign and the sign of the exponent are same, it will be with all terms positive. So same rule we have used for series number 5 and 6, isn't it? See, middle sign is plus and exponent is minus. So I got alternating series here. Whereas middle sign is minus and the exponent is minus. So all terms here are I'm getting positive. Now let me write the series. 1 plus, alternating series as I said. So it will be 1 minus 2z plus 3z square minus 4z cube and so on. And the same condition carry forward. And here it is the same series, but it will not be the alternating series. All terms in the series will be positive. Okay. So these are all standard series. It is a revision of all these standard series. Somewhere or the other you have used these expansions. Okay. Now let us solve some examples. Now suppose it is asked to find out the expansion for some series like this. Obtain Taylor's expansion of f of z is equal to 1 minus z upon z square. 1 minus z upon z square in powers of z minus 1. Okay. Now see students, very carefully you have to solve these type of problems. First of all, it is the Taylor series. Okay. The given function is what? 1 minus z upon z square. Now can you tell me what is the first thing you are going to observe? You are going to observe the denominator first of all. When you equate the denominator to 0, whatever value of z you get, at that particular point, the function is not analytic. We have used this in Cauchy's integral theorem and formula also. Because when the denominator becomes 0, that particular point, the function will not be analytic. So first that you have to find out. So in this problem, what happens is, you can say that f of z is not analytic. F of z is not analytic. At, can you guess at what here? F of z is not analytic at what? When you equate denominator to 0, what you get? Z equal to 0, right? Z square equal to 0 means z is equal to 0. And how you get it? By equating denominator to 0. So all of you understood what I did first? Equate the denominator to 0 and say that whatever value of z you get, the function is not analytic at that particular point. Z equal to 0 is nothing but your origin, students, because x plus iy is equal to 0. So x is 0 and y is 0. So last time I gave you practice of writing the points in terms of x and y. So we consider the region. Which region we are going to consider? Now z plus 1, you have to find out the Taylor series expansion in the powers of z minus 1, right? So, however, if we consider the region like this, students, 0 less than mod of z minus 1 less than 1, the function is analytic in this region. The function is analytic in the region. Now see what I have done here. You can take this as z minus 1. Why? From where this z minus 1 is coming into the picture? See, there are two different methods. Both methods I will show you. Why z minus 1 is coming into the picture? Because you are going to write the expansion in the powers of z minus 1. So this z minus 1 has to be in between 0 to 1. Why? Because z equal to 0 should not reflect. So what will happen? If you take minus 1 to other side, it will become plus 1. So z will be in between plus 1 and minus 1 will go to other side. So it will be plus 1. So what will be this? It will be in between 0 to 2. So always the region will be in between 0 to 1. Okay. Now, if you are taking this region, how you are going to consider the next step? What minus z divided by z square, right? So either you use partial fractions or directly you can separate the terms. So it will be like this. Minus 1 upon z. Now, these two terms are 1 upon z square and 1 upon z. Now, can you tell me what will happen with f of 1? Because, see students, after all, you are using the Taylor series. Which is the Taylor series formula you are using? So first write the formula so that you will get the direction of solution. Which is the Taylor series you are using? F of z is equal to f of a plus z minus a into f dash of a plus z minus a the whole square by 2 factorial f double dash of a. So this is your Taylor series, which you know already, right? So once the formula is in front of you, you will start finding the required things, right? So first of all, you require f of z, right? So f of z we got. Then you require f of a. F of a means what, students? What is a here? Whatever number is subtracted, that is z minus 1. So your a is 1. So you require f of 1. Then you require f dash of 1, f double dash of 1, and so on. So all these terms you are going to find out. So therefore what happens? You can substitute the values here according to the requirement and you get the Taylor's series. This is one way. Now what is the another way? You can directly write it as in the form of a summation, students. What is the summation of this if you go to find out? What will be summation of this? The summation of this will be z minus a raised to n minus 1 raised to n, okay? Or directly what you write? Z minus 1 raised to n into nth order derivative of a. This will, if it is coming in the nth term minus 1 raised to n, then you consider. Otherwise, it will be nth order derivative of a. Now, n is from where to where? N is always from 1 to infinity. Minimum value of n is 1, maximum value of n is infinity. So see, this is the same formula I wrote in the form of a summation. What is the formula? F of a plus z minus a f dash of a plus z minus a the whole square by 2 factorial f double dash of a and so on. So same formula can be written in compressed way, that is with the summation. So f of a will be there, f dash of a, f double dash of a. So what will be its nth order derivative? F n of a. Then z minus a raised to 0, z minus a raised to 1, z minus a raised to 2, z minus a raised to 3, and so on. Now what is missing here? Missing is the denominator, right? What will be the denominator here? Here it is 1 factorial. Nothing means, here no denominator means 0 factorial. then here it will be 1 factorial, 2 factorial, and so on. So if you write the denominator as n factorial, whether it will work, because the minimum value of n is 1. So 1 factorial, then 2 factorial, 3 factorial, and so on. So whether it will be n factorial or n minus 1 factorial, what will be the denominator? If I put n is equal to 1, I'll get 1 factorial. Correct? If I put n is equal to 2, I'll get 2 factorial. If I put n equal to 3, I'll get 3 factorial. So in that case, either you have to ignore the first term by using the knowledge of infinite series, or you take it as n minus 1 factorial. So let us see how it works for this particular problem. So once you know what you require, your direction will be accordingly. So now let us see what we get as the nth term here first, which we are going to directly substitute in our formula. Okay. So now, what is your f of z? Let me write f of z again. F of z is 1 minus z upon z raised to 2. And then we have splitted it, right? 1 upon z square minus 1 upon z. What is f of 1 here? F of 1 will be 0. Why? Because z is 1, no? So 1 minus 1 is 0. So I'm getting f of 1 is equal to 0. Now I want to find out the nth term or nth derivative, I can say. What will be nth derivative of this? When I write the nth derivative of this, I have to write nth derivative of first term minus nth derivative of the second term separately. Okay. When you are writing the nth term, remember one thing, you don't know whether it is positive or negative, right? So for safer side, always whenever you are writing the nth term, we write minus 1 raised to n. So if n is even number, you get positive term. If n is odd number, you get negative 1. And then the numerator I'm writing as n plus 1 factorial divided by z raised to n plus 2 minus minus 1 raised to n factorial upon z raised to n plus 1. So see students, these are the direct formulas for the nth derivative of 1 upon z square and 1 upon z. Okay. To find out the nth derivative, we use the Leibniz formula which you have done in your first semester. So there, under successive differentiation, we get this as the nth terms for these two. So if you are not comfortable with this, I will tell you another method which will be simpler than this. Is there you need not find out what is the nth term separately. But let me complete this first. So here what happens is, if you can take nth derivative when z is equal to 1. So wherever there is 1, wherever there is n, I'm putting 1, and the simplified form of this is minus 1 raised to n into n factorial into n. After simplification, I get this. And now I'm putting this in Taylor series. So Taylor series becomes f of z is equal to, I've written the formula for you in summation. So what is the formula there? Summation of z minus 1 raised to n into f, the nth derivative, which we got here, n factorial into n. And divided by n factorial is there, which is in the formula. Then n factorial will get cancelled, and whatever you get, that will be your Taylor's series. Now see students, some new students are there who may not be aware of this successive differentiation. Means what? How to get the nth derivative. So for them or for others also, I will tell you one shortcut way. So how it works? So you will find this easier. So this is the alternate method I'm giving you. In alternate method, see whichever you find easier, you can go for that. What is your function f of z, students? It is 1 minus z divided by z square, right? So here what I'm doing is, I'm adjusting this terms. How? See, I'm writing it as minus sign out and z minus 1. And subtracting 1, adding in this z. carefully. What is the reason of doing this? Because I want to expand it in the power of z minus 1, if you see. So in place of 1 minus z, I'm writing z minus 1. And when I'm doing this, when I'm interchanging the terms, I have to take minus sign out. Similarly, in the denominator, I'm subtracting 1 first and then I'm adding 1 because I want z minus 1. Okay, all of you understood this step? And why z minus 1 only? Because in the problem it is asked to expand the function in the powers of z minus 1. Okay, now see what I do. I substitute for z minus 1 as some u. Okay, I substitute for z minus 1 as some u. So what this gives you? F of z, how it will look, see? It will be minus u upon u plus 1 the whole square, agree? And now it is what? Minus u plus 1 raised to minus 2. Because when power is positive in the denominator, it becomes negative in the numerator. Okay? Now, minus u as it is. Don't you have expansion for 1 plus u raised to minus 2? I have given you the standard series just now, see? Open that page. And on that page, we have the formula. So can you tell me formula number what you are going to use for this expansion? 1 plus u raised to minus 2. 7th or 8th? Anybody? Which formula you are going to use here? Riva?
7th
one.
one.
Because see middle? 7th one. Because the middle sign is positive, right? So you need to by heart this formula, students. What is the formula? 1 minus 2z plus 3z square minus 4z cube and so on. But in place of z, now we have letter u. So you have to write the same formula with letter u. Okay? So now how it will look? Your expansion will be, this minus u is outside as it is, we are not touching that. So it is 1, then minus 2z, so minus 2, z means what? Z means it will be u, right? Then plus 3z square, so plus 3 u square, then minus 4 u cube. So nothing I am doing, students, just I am substituting u in place of z in our ready-made formula. Okay? And now what I do here, I'll put summation sign. But before that, I can take this minus u inside, right? So multiply each and every term by minus u. So it will be minus u. Minus into minus is plus 2u square. Then minus 3u cube plus 4u raised to 4 and so on. When I multiply by minus u, all terms will be with opposite sign. Minus will become plus, plus will become minus and so on. And now I'll put summation sign. Okay. Now when I put summation sign, students, definitely I will take minus 1 raised to n first because I don't know what will be sign of the nth term, correct? Into n. N means what? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then u raised to n. Because u raised to 1, u raised to 2, u raised to 3 and so on. Where n is going from 1 to infinity. Okay? But what is u here? We have substituted u for what? Z minus 1. So it is n equal to 1 to infinity minus 1 raised to n into n. And this is z minus 1 raised to n. So this is also the answer of given problem, that is the expansion of Taylor's series. So earlier answer and this answer is same. But only in earlier answer we are using the nth derivative directly of the given terms. And for that you should be good in your successive differentiation. So if you don't remember your successive differentiation, then you can go for this method. It is easier. Okay. So we'll solve some more examples next time. Once you practice, you will be very much confident in these problems. It is not at all difficult. In terms of what it is asked to expand, That you have to see. And your function you have to convert in terms of that. And you have to by heart all the standard series which I have given today. At around 8 standard series are given. So somewhere or the other you need to use this. Okay. So I stop here. Next time we'll continue. Give the attendance, students.